Maribel Knox doesn't know the man bleeding under the bridge is already dead in 3 different databases. She doesn't know that covering him with her coat just signed her name in blood across the Korean underworld. She doesn't know that 3 cameras caught her face. And she doesn't know that by morning, the most dangerous man in Chicago will be standing outside her door. Not to thank her, but to decide if she lives long enough to regret kindness. All she knows is that it's 2 a.m. The wind is cutting through her uniform shirt, and everyone else has decided the man slumped against the concrete isn't their problem. Chicago winter doesn't negotiate. It just kills. Quietly. Efficiently. Maribel learned that early, sleeping with socks on her hands when the heat got shut off, learning how hunger makes the world go silent, understanding that invisible people freeze without anyone noticing. She's 28. Black. Exhausted. Walking home from a 6-hour shift, scrubbing office floors, because the bus stopped running and she can't afford the cab. The underpass near the river swallows sound. Her footsteps echo, then stop. The man isn't begging, isn't moving. Blood crusts his temple, frozen in dark streaks. 1 shoe missing. Expensive watch still strapped to his wrist, hands limp, fingertips blue. A woman in scrubs glances over, speeds up. A delivery driver slows his bike, shakes his head, keeps pedaling. Maribel's fingers tremble on her coat zipper. This is stupid. This is dangerous. This is none of her business. But something about the way his chest barely moves, shallow, stuttering, giving up, makes her knees lock. Before we continue, besties, please like and subscribe. It's the simplest way to support this channel and help these stories keep coming. We drop new, emotionally gripping stories every day just for you. And don't forget to comment where you're watching from and what time it is there. I'd love to see how far this story of love and destiny has reached. She pulls off her coat. The only warm thing she owns. Bought secondhand 3 winters ago. Patched at the elbow. Her hands shake as she crouches down, draping it over his shoulders, tucking it tight around his chest. "Don't die out here," she whispers. He doesn't respond. She stands fast, arms crossed over her thin shirt, and walks away before her brain catches up to her heart. The wind bites harder now, teeth chattering. She walks faster, faster, until the underpass disappears behind her and the man becomes just another Chicago tragedy she can't afford to remember. Maribel doesn't see the black sedan that's been idling 3 blocks away. Doesn't see the driver reach for his phone. Doesn't hear him say, "Target recovered, woman intervened, black female, mid-20s, heading east on foot." Doesn't know that in a warehouse across town someone just wrote her name on a whiteboard under the word complication. By the time she reaches her apartment, her fingers are numb. She double locks the door, cranks the space heater, sits on the edge of her bed staring at her empty hands. Outside, 3 blocks down, a black sedan parks, engine running, waiting. And Maribel falls asleep, believing kindness ends when you walk away. She's wrong. The sound drags her out of sleep like hands around her throat. Engines. Low. Expensive. Wrong. Maribel's eyes snap open. Her room is still dark. That gray before dawn that feels like the world holding its breath. She doesn't move. Just listens. 3 engines. Idling. Close. Too close. Her heart slams against her ribs as she crawls to the window, staying low, peeking through the corner of the blinds. 3 black sedans. Parked in perfect formation outside her building. Not police. Police don't drive cars that look like they cost more than her annual rent. Men step out. Korean. Tall. Dark suits that don't wrinkle. Moving with the kind of calm that makes her stomach drop into her feet. One of them looks up, directly at her window. She stumbles, backward, breath-catching. What did I do? But she already knows. The man, the coat, the bridge. The knock comes. Slow, deliberate, polite. That politeness terrifies her more than shouting ever could. Maribel knocks. The voice is calm, accented, respectful. "You need to come with us." Her throat closes. hands shaking as she pulls on jeans, a sweater, boots. She doesn't grab her phone, doesn't grab keys. Some animal part of her brain knows running makes this worse. She opens the door. Two men stand in her hallway. One older, gray temples, hands folded. One younger, leaner, watching her with eyes that don't blink. Ms. Knox, please. The older man gestures toward the stairs. Maribel walks. No screaming. No fighting. No tears. Because predators smell panic. The street is empty. Too early. Too cold. The younger man opens the back door of the middle sedan. Leather interior. Medicinal smell. Clean. Controlled. She slides in. Door closes with a soft final click. The older man sits in front. Driver pulls away. Smooth, silent. No sirens, just a quiet glide through Chicago's waking streets. Where are you taking me? To someone who wants to meet you. Her stomach twists. I didn't do anything. You gave him your coat. Silence. Maribel stares out the window. Boarded shops, early buses, a man pushing a shopping cart. Normal, routine. She might never see normal again. The warehouse district rises ahead. Abandoned factories, cracked pavement, no cameras. The sedan turns into an alley. Gate opens without anyone touching it. Inside, the building is industrial. Steel beams, high ceilings, fluorescent hum. Warm. Men line the walls, silent, armed, watching. At the center of the room sits a man in a chair that looks more like a throne. Clean now, stitched, alive. The man from the bridge. His eyes lock onto hers and Maribel's lungs forget how to work. Maribel knocks, he says quietly. My name is Kang Jun Seok. The air presses down like a hand on her chest. You're the reason I'm still breathing. A slow clap echoes from the shadows. Maribel turns. Another man leans against the far wall, younger, sharper, smiling in a way that makes her skin crawl. How touching, he says, voice dripping with mockery. He pushes off the wall, moving closer. She saw you weak, bleeding, helpless. Jun Seok doesn't look at him. The man stops 3 feet from Maribel, studying her like she's a mistake that needs correcting. Loose ends, he says softly, always become problems. And Maribel realizes with sudden crushing clarity, she didn't save a stranger. She saved someone who might have to kill her to stay alive. Jun Seok's voice cuts through the warehouse like a blade through silk. She walked away, Han. The man called Han tilts his head, smile never fading. So did Judas. The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. Maribel's pulse hammers in her ears. Every man along the walls has shifted, subtle, predatory, waiting for the word that decides whether she walks out or gets carried out. Han circles her slowly, hands clasped behind his back. You saw Chairman Kang at his weakest. Dying, exposed. His voice is soft, conversational. That kind of knowledge is dangerous, Ms. Knox. Maribel forces herself to speak. I didn't see anything. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. You helped him. Han stops directly in front of her, leaning close enough that she can smell his cologne. Expensive. Suffocating. How noble. He straightens, smile sharpening. But nobility doesn't mean much when you're dead. Enough. One word from Jun Seok, and every man in the room goes still. Han's jaw tightens, but he steps back. Jun Seok stands slowly. The movement makes the entire room shift. He walks toward Maribel, deliberate, unhurried. You didn't call the police, he says. Didn't take my watch. Didn't take a photo. You covered me and left. Maribel nods, not trusting her voice. That's why you're still breathing. Relief almost buckles her knees. Almost. But, Jun-seok continues, 3 crews were hunting me that night. If any of them saw you, they'll use you to get to me. Her chest tightens. I didn't ask for this. No. His voice softens. But kindness always has consequences. Han laughs, low, bitter. Consequences. Pretty word for collateral damage. Jun Seok's eyes don't leave Maribel's face. She stays under protection until we confirm no one else saw her. Protection. Han's voice drips poison. You mean surveillance. I mean safety. You're making a mistake, Chairman. Jun Seok finally looks at Han. The silence between them is sharp enough to draw blood. I've made worse. Han holds his gaze for 3 long seconds, then smiles, cold, patient. Yes, he says quietly. You have. He turns and walks toward the exit. His footsteps echo like a countdown. At the door, he pauses, glances back at Maribel. Enjoy your protection, Ms. Knox, while it lasts. The door closes behind him with a soft click. That sounds like a loaded gun. Maribel stands frozen, heart slamming against her ribs. Jun Seok watches the door for a long moment, then looks back at her. You'll stay in a safe location. Food. Security. Everything you need. For how long? Her voice barely breaks a whisper. Jun Seok doesn't answer, because he doesn't know. And that terrifies her more than anything, Han said. One more thing, Jun Seok adds, voice dropping lower. Your supervisor, Calvin Red. He's been laundering money for a rival crew. Maribel's stomach drops. Calvin? He knows you worked that night. He's already asking questions. Her hands start shaking again. What are you going to do? Jun Seok's expression doesn't change. What I have to. Before she can respond, 2 men appear at her sides, not touching, just present. They'll take you somewhere safe, Jun Seok says. Rest, eat. I'll come see you tomorrow. Maribel wants to argue, wants to scream, wants to demand answers, but she can't. Because in this world, questions get you killed. The men escort her toward a different exit. As the door opens, she looks back one last time. Jun Seok stands alone in the center of the warehouse, hands in his pockets, staring at the spot where Han disappeared. And for just a second, he looks tired, human, afraid. Then the door closes, and Maribel realizes she's not the only one trapped. The safe house is a tomb that breathes. 3 days. Maribel has been here 3 days. White walls, gray carpet. Furniture that's never been loved. Meals on trays delivered by men who don't speak. No phone, no TV, no windows that open. Safe. That's what they keep saying. But safety feels like drowning in slow motion. On the 4th morning, Jun Seok comes. No knock. Just walks in like he owns the air. You haven't been eating. Maribel sits on the bed, staring at the untouched breakfast tray. I'm not hungry. He pulls the chair from the desk, sits, elbows on his knees. I'm offering you money, enough to disappear. New city, new name. You'll never see me again. Her throat tightens. What's the catch? No catch. She laughs, sharp, broken. Men like you don't do favors without strings. Something flickers in his eyes, surprise, or respect. You're right, he says quietly. But the string isn't ownership. It's survival. She looks up. If you take the money and run, Jun Seok continues, you're alone. No one watching your back. No one stopping Calvin Red from selling your name to the highest bidder. Maribel's breath catches. Calvin wouldn't. He already has. The words hit like a fist. He contacted Han 2 days ago. Offered information about you in exchange for protection from me. Maribel stands, pacing, hands shaking. I didn't tell Calvin anything. You didn't have to. You're connected to me now. That makes you currency. She stops, pressing her palms against the wall. So, what do I do? You let me protect you. She spins around, eyes burning. Protection. You keep using that word, but it doesn't feel like protection. It feels like a cage. Jun Seok stands slowly. It's the only thing keeping you alive. Silence stretches, taut, suffocating. Maribel wants to scream, wants to rewind time, wants to walk past that bridge without looking back, but she can't. Fine, she whispers. What happens now? You go back to your life, your apartment, your job. But my people watch you. Always. Her chest tightens. And Calvin? Jun Seok moves toward the door. He won't be a problem anymore. The certainty in his voice sends ice down her spine. What are you going to do to him? Jun Seok pauses, hand on the doorknob. Nothing permanent. Just educational. He leaves before she can respond. Maribel returns to her apartment the next day. Everything looks the same, smells the same, feels the same, but nothing is the same. She sees them now. The watchers. The man at the corner store who's always there when she leaves. The woman in the sedan parked across the street. The delivery driver who circles the block twice, protection or surveillance. She can't tell the difference anymore. Calvin doesn't show up for work the next day, or the day after. On the third day, Shanice pulls her aside in the break room. Girl, you hear about Calvin? Maribel's stomach drops. No, what happened? Shanice lowers her voice. Hospital. Both hands broken. Doctor said it looked like someone used a hammer. Deliberately. Bone by bone. The room tilts. Police? Came by asking questions, but nobody saw nothing. Maribel nods slowly, gripping the counter to stay upright. That night she sits on her couch, staring at her own hands. Clean, unbroken, safe. The knock on her door is soft. Expected. She opens it without checking the peephole. Jun Seok stands in her hallway, hands in his coat pockets. Can I come in? She steps aside. He moves through her apartment like he's memorizing exits, checking corners, cataloging threats. You heard, he says. Not a question. You destroyed him. I protected you. Maribel's voice cracks. That's not protection. That's violence with a prettier name. Jun Seok steps closer, not threatening, just present. You think I don't know the difference? His voice is quiet, dangerous. I've lived in violence my entire life, Ms. Knox. I know exactly what it looks like. He pauses. And I know what mercy looks like, too. Mercy? She laughs, bitter, broken. You call that mercy? He's alive. 2 words. Flat. Final. In my world, Jun Seok continues, that's mercy. Maribel sinks onto the couch, head in her hands. Silence fills the apartment, heavy, suffocating. Then Jun Seok speaks again, voice softer now. For what it's worth, I'm sorry you had to see what mercy costs. He moves toward the door. But I'm not sorry I protected you. The door closes softly. Maribel sits alone, tears burning her eyes, and realizes protection isn't just a word. It's a debt, and she's drowning in it. The nightmares start on the 5th night. Calvin's hands, breaking, bone by bone. Maribel wakes gasping, sheets soaked, heart racing. She tells herself it's not her fault. She tells herself he deserved it. She tells herself lies until sunrise. Work becomes routine again. Scrubbing floors, avoiding eye contact, pretending normalcy is still possible. But she feels them watching. Always watching. The man at the corner store. The woman in the sedan. Shadows that move when she moves. Protection. On the 8th night, Jun Seok comes to her apartment unannounced. She doesn't ask how he got past the locks. You're not sleeping, he says. How would you know? He doesn't answer, doesn't need to. Maribel sits on the couch, exhausted. I keep seeing his hands. Jun Seok sits across from her, same chair as before, same careful distance. Calvin cornered you in a storage room last month. Told you if you filed another complaint, he'd make sure you never worked in this city again. Maribel freezes. How do you know that? Ooh, Because I pay attention. She stares at him, this man who broke another man's hands because of something she never even told him about. You shouldn't have done that. He was leverage. The rival crew would have used him to hurt you. I removed the problem. By destroying him? By protecting you. Maribel stands, pacing. I hate this. I hate what you've made me. Junseok's jaw tightens. I haven't made you anything. Yes, you have, her voice cracks. I gave you a coat, that's all. I didn't ask to be part of your world. I didn't ask for violence. I didn't ask for... To survive? Junseok stands slowly. Because that's what this is, Ms. Knox. Survival. At what cost? He steps closer, not threatening, just tired. You think I wanted this? His voice drops. You think I wanted to owe my life to someone? To drag an innocent woman into a war she didn't start? Maribel's breath catches. Then why did you? Because leaving you alone would have gotten you killed. The truth hits, like a slap. Tears burn her eyes. She wipes them away roughly, angry at herself for crying. I hate you. I know. I hate that I needed your help. I know. Junseok moves toward the door, then stops. For what it's worth, he says quietly, you remind me of someone. Maribel looks up. Who? The person I used to be, before I learned that kindness costs more than violence ever will. He opens the door. Get some rest, Ms. Knox. The door closes. Maribel stands alone in the silence, chest heaving. She wants to scream, wants to run, wants to rewind time and become the kind of person who walks past strangers without looking back. But she can't, because mercy always demands payment, and she's just starting to understand the price. Across the city, in a penthouse overlooking the river, Han Demin sits in darkness. 3 monitors glow in front of him. Security footage, phone records, financial transactions. He's been watching. Waiting, documenting. Every time Junseok enters Maribel's building, every time he stays too long, every time his expression softens when he looks at her. Han smiles. Kindness, he murmurs to the empty room, makes people predictable. He opens his laptop, types a single message. Target acquired. Chairman compromised, ready to proceed. The response comes in seconds. Approved. Make it public. Make it hurt. Han closes the laptop, stands, walks to the window overlooking Chicago's glittering skyline. You should have killed her when you had the chance, Chairman, he whispers. His reflection smiles back, cold, patient, victorious. Now I'll do it for you. And when he does, Junseok will have to choose. Save the woman who saved him, or save the empire that made him. Han already knows which one he'll pick, because mercy, in the end, always loses to power. He pulls out his phone, makes the call, and sets a trap that will destroy them both. Maribel doesn't see it coming. 3 weeks pass. The nightmares fade. The watchers become background noise, familiar shadows she stops noticing. Work, home, sleep, repeat, almost normal. That's the mistake. It happens on a Tuesday. Maribel walks home from her shift, earbuds in, hands shoved in her pockets. The street is quiet, empty, the kind of empty that should have triggered alarms, but exhaustion makes you careless. The van pulls up alongside her, white, unmarked, windows tinted. She doesn't react fast enough. Door slides open. Hands grab her arms, her waist yanking her inside before she can scream. Hood over her head, thick fabric, suffocating. Zip ties bite into her wrists. The van lurches forward. Maribel tries to count turns, tries to remember street sounds, tries to stay calm. But panic claws up her throat because she knows. This isn't random. Time loses meaning under the hood. Minutes, hours, impossible to tell. The van stops. Rough hands haul her out. Cold air hits her skin, then warmth. Indoor warmth. Footsteps. Echo. High ceiling. Warehouse. They shove her into a chair. Metal. Bolted to the floor. Zip ties replaced with restraints. Wrists. Ankles. Chest strap. Professional. Then, silence. Footsteps recede. Door closes. Maribel sits alone in darkness, breathing through fabric, heart slamming against her ribs. She doesn't know where she is, doesn't know who took her, doesn't know if Junseok's people even saw what happened. Time crawls, her shoulders ache, wrists burn, breath comes shallow and fast. Then, footsteps again, slow, deliberate, closer. Someone pulls the hood off. Light blinds her. She blinks, eyes adjusting. A figure stands in front of her, backlit by fluorescent glow. Han Dae-min, smiling. Maribel's stomach drops into her shoes. Ms. Knox, his voice is soft, conversational. I've been looking forward to this. He circles her slowly, hands clasped behind his back. You know what's fascinating about kindness? He stops beside her, leaning down. It makes people predictable. Maribel's throat is too dry to speak. Han straightens, pulling a chair across the concrete. He sits backward on it, arms crossed over the backrest, face inches from hers. Chairman Kang thinks mercy is strength. He laughs, quiet, bitter. But mercy is just weakness with better marketing. He'll come for me, Maribel whispers. Han's smile widens. I'm counting on it. Her chest tightens. This isn't about me. No, Han stands, pulling a gun from his waistband. It's about proving a point. He checks the chamber. Smooth. Practiced. In our world, sentiment gets leaders killed. Attachment creates vulnerabilities. And you, Ms. Knox. He presses the barrel against her temple. Are his biggest vulnerability. Maribel closes her eyes, breath coming in short gasps. Please. Oh, don't worry. Han's voice drips false comfort. You won't die alone. He steps back, gun still raised. When Chairman Kang walks through that door to save you, he'll die too. Shot by his own, second in command while trying to rescue a woman who was already dead. Understanding crashes over her like ice water. You're setting him up. I'm removing an obstacle. Han tilts his head. The syndicate needs a leader who understands that power requires sacrifice. Kang forgot that the moment he let you live. Maribel's vision blurs with tears. He saved you too. He used me too. Han's smile vanishes. Loyalty without reward is just slavery. He raises the gun again, finger sliding to the trigger. Any last words? Maribel looks him dead in the eye. You'll never be him. Han's jaw tightens. No, he says quietly. I'll be better. The gunshot is deafening in the enclosed space, but Maribel doesn't feel pain, doesn't feel anything, because the bullet didn't come from Han's gun. The door behind her explodes inward, wood splintering, metal shrieking. Gunfire erupts. Han dives sideways, returning fire, shouting, running, chaos. Someone cuts her restraints. Strong hands lift her from the chair. Stay down, a voice she recognizes, one of Junseok's men. Maribel drops to the floor, arms over her head, ears ringing. Through the smoke and noise, she sees him, Junseok, moving through the chaos like a force of nature. And in that moment, Maribel realizes, mercy isn't weakness. It's the most dangerous thing in the world. The gunfire stops. Silence rings louder than bullets. Maribel stays pressed against the concrete, arms over her head, breathing in dust and cordite. Footsteps approach, slow, controlled. Ms. Knox, Junseok's voice. She looks up. He crouches beside her, checking her wrist where the restraints bit deep. His face is calm. Too calm. Blood spatters his shirt, not his. Are you hurt? He asks. She shakes her head, not trusting her voice. Junseok stands, offering his hand. She takes it. Her legs barely hold her weight. Around them, bodies lie motionless, Han's men, all of them. But Han himself is gone. Where is he? Maribel whispers. Jun Seok's jaw tightens. He ran. East exit, my men are tracking him. A radio crackles on one of the fallen men. Jun Seok picks it up, listens. Chairman, target spotted, heading to the shipyard. Orders? Jun Seok's eyes don't leave Maribel's face. Bring him in alive. Sir, alive. He clips the radio to his belt, then looks at Maribel again. I'm taking you somewhere safe. Real safe this time. He wanted you to come, she says, voice shaking. He wanted to kill you. I know. Then why did you? Because some things, Jun Seok interrupts quietly, are worth dying for. Before she can respond, his phone rings. He answers, listens. His expression hardens. Understood. I'm on my way. He hangs up, turning to one of his men. Take Ms. Knox to the safe house on North Avenue. No stops. No communication. Clear? Yes, Chairman. Jun Seok looks at Maribel one last time. Stay there until I come for you. Where are you going? His expression is unreadable. To finish this. Ooh. "30 minutes later, the shipyard is dark. Abandoned cranes loom like skeletal giants. Shipping containers stack in rusted towers. Water laps against the docks, rhythmic, hypnotic, indifferent. Han Daemon stands at the edge of the pier, gun drawn, breathing hard. He's not running anymore. He's waiting. Footsteps echo behind him. Han doesn't turn. I wondered if you'd come alone, he says. Jun Seok stops 10 feet away. Hands at his sides, unarmed. You killed 6 of our men tonight. Your men. Han turns slowly. Not ours. You stopped being ours the moment you chose her over the syndicate. I chose mercy. Han laughs, sharp, bitter. Mercy. You keep using that word like it means something. He raises his gun. Let me show you what mercy actually looks like. He fires. The bullet sparks off a container behind Jun Seok. Warning shot. I could have killed you a dozen times, Han continues. I could have killed her tonight. But I wanted you to see it. Wanted you to understand what sentiment costs. Jun Seok steps forward. You think I don't know? His voice is quiet. Dangerous. You think I haven't paid that price my entire life? Then why save her? Han's voice cracks. Why risk everything for someone who means nothing? Because she reminded me what I'd forgotten. What? Jun Seok takes another step. That mercy isn't weakness. It's the hardest thing we'll ever do. Han's hand trembles. Gun wavering. You were supposed to be different. You were supposed to be strong. I am strong. Jun Seok stops just beyond arm's reach, strong enough to choose who lives instead of who dies. For a long moment, Han just stares at him. Then his finger tightens on the trigger. I'm sorry, Chairman. The gunshot echoes across the water, but Han never pulls the trigger, because Jun Seok moves faster, disarming him in 2 smooth motions, gun clattering across the dock. Han drops to his knees, breathing hard, eyes wide. Do it, he whispers. Prove me right. Jun Seok looks down at him, then he makes a call. It's done. Send the transport. He crouches to Han's level. I'm not going to kill you, he says quietly. Han's face twists with confusion, then horror. You're exiling me. Worse, Jun Seok stands. I'm letting you live with what you've become. 2 vans pull up. Men step out, not Jun Seok's, federal agents. Han's eyes go wide. What did you do? I made a deal. Jun Seok's voice is flat. Your crimes for the syndicate's amnesty. You wanted to prove sentiment was weakness? He leans down one last time. I just proved its power. The agents handcuff Han, reading him his rights. As they drag him away, Han screams, You'll regret this. She'll destroy you. Sentiment always does. Jun-seok watches until the vans disappear. Then he stands alone on the dock, staring at the water, and for the first time in years he feels something that might be peace, or might be loss. He can't tell the difference anymore. Maribel doesn't sleep. She sits in the safe house living room, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the wall. The clock ticks. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Dawn breaks gray and cold through the window. The door opens. Jun-seok walks in, moving slowly. Exhausted. He's changed clothes, no blood. But something in his eyes looks different. Older. It's over, he says. Maribel stands. Han? Federal custody. He'll spend the next 20 years in a concrete box. She exhales, sharp, shaky. And you? Jun-seok sits on the arm of the couch. I made a deal. Information for immunity. The syndicate's being dismantled. Carefully, strategically. Maribel stares at him. You just destroyed your entire organization. Yes. Why? Jun-seok looks up at her. Because staying in that world meant choosing between power and the person who reminded me I used to be human. Silence fills the room. What happens now? Maribel whispers. Now, Jun-seok says quietly, you get to choose. He stands, moving to the window. I can set you up somewhere clean. New city. New identity. Enough money to start over. You'll never see me again. Maribel's chest tightens. Or you stay. Here. Chicago. Your life. Your terms. I'll make sure you're protected until the last of Han's loyalists are dealt with. Protected. She laughs, hollow, exhausted. I'm so tired of that word. Then tell me what you want. Maribel walks to the window, standing beside him. I want my life back. The one I had before I gave you that coat. Jun-seok nods slowly. I can't give you that. I know. They stand in silence, watching the city wake up. But I can give you something else, Jun-seok continues. Freedom. Real freedom. No watchers. No surveillance. No one deciding your choices. Why would you do that? He turns to face her. Because you saved my life. And I'm tired of repaying that debt with violence. Maribel studies his face. The scar on his jaw. The exhaustion in his eyes. The weight he carries like armor. What will you do? She asks. After this? Disappear. There are people who'll want revenge for what I did tonight. I can't stay in Chicago. Where will you go? Somewhere quiet. Somewhere I can figure out who I am without a title. Maribel's throat tightens. Thank you, she whispers. For coming for me? Thank you, Jun-seok replies, for showing me there was still something worth saving. He moves toward the door. My people will make sure you're safe for the next few weeks. After that, he pauses. You're free. The word hangs in the air. Free. Maribel hasn't felt free in months. Jun-seok. He stops, hand on the doorknob. When you figure out who you are, she says quietly, I hope you like him. Something shifts in his expression, almost a smile. I hope so too. He opens the door. Wait. Maribel crosses the room quickly, reaches for the closet, pulls out her coat, the one she gave him that night, the one his people returned to her weeks ago. Folded, clean, she holds it out. You should keep this. Jun-seok stares at it. Why? Because it's not mine anymore. It belongs to the person we both used to be, before everything changed. He takes it slowly, fingers brushing hers. I'll keep it, he says, to remember what kindness looks like. And I'll remember what mercy costs. They stand there, two people who saved each other in ways they'll never fully understand. Then Jun-seok nods once and walks out the door. Maribel watches through the window as he climbs into a black sedan, different from before, quieter, unmarked. The car pulls away, and just like that, The most dangerous man she's ever met disappears into Chicago's morning traffic. Gone. Maribel sits back down, pulling the blanket tighter. The clock ticks, the city wakes, and for the first time in months she's alone. Really alone. Not protected, not watched, not hunted, just alone. And it feels terrifying. And it feels perfect. 6 weeks pass. Maribel returns to work. Different building, different shift, different supervisor. No more Calvin, no more threats, no more shadows following her home. The watchers disappear one by one until she's walking alone again. Just another woman in Chicago. Invisible, safe, but safety feels hollow. She moved apartments, smaller place, quieter street. Fresh start. But some nights she wakes up gasping, feeling zip ties on her wrists, hearing Han's voice in the darkness. Some nights she stands at her window, searching the street for black sedans that aren't coming. Freedom, she's learning, doesn't erase memory. The money appears in her account on a Tuesday. Enough to disappear. Enough to start over. Enough to never work night shifts again. No note, no explanation. Just numbers on a screen. She stares at the balance for 20 minutes. Then she transfers half to a savings account she'll never touch. Emergency fund, just in case. The other half she uses to enroll in community college. Business administration. Morning, classes. Because if she's going to be free, she's going to be free on her terms. SAPS. 3 months after the shipyard, Maribel gets a phone call. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. Ms. Knox. The voice is unfamiliar. Professional. Who is this? My name is Agent Sarah Chen, FBI. I'm calling about the Kang case. Maribel's stomach drops. What about it? We need you to come in. Sign some final paperwork. Witness protection is being officially closed. Maribel exhales slowly. When? Tomorrow. 2 p.m., Federal Building downtown. I'll be there. Well, the FBI office is sterile. Gray walls, fluorescent lights, forms, signatures, legal language she barely understands. Agent Chen is efficient, kind, explains everything twice. You're officially clear, she says finally. No further threat. The remaining syndicate members have been processed. You can resume your life without restriction. Maribel nods, signing. The last form. What about Jun Seok? Agent Chen's expression doesn't change. I can't discuss active witnesses. Is he safe? A pause. He's protected. That's all I can say. Maribel stands, shaking the agent's hand. Thank you. Ms. Knox. Agent Chen walks her to the door. What you did, helping him that night, took courage. Maribel laughs softly. It took stupidity. Maybe. Agent Chen smiles slightly. But sometimes stupidity and courage look the same. Sue. Maribel walks out of the Federal Building into cold afternoon sunshine. The city moves around her. Buses, taxis, people rushing nowhere and everywhere. Normal. She pulls out her phone, hesitates, then opens her contacts, scrolls to a number she's never called. One of Jun Seok's men gave it to her months ago. Emergency use only. She types a message. I'm free. Thank you. She hovers over send, then deletes it. Because some debts can't be repaid with words, and some people aren't meant to stay in your life, even when they save it. She pockets her phone and starts walking toward her apartment, toward her classes, toward a life that's finally, completely, terrifyingly hers. Behind her, on a rooftop 3 blocks away, a man in a dark coat watches through binoculars. He's been watching for 3 months, making sure no one else is. When Maribel disappears around the corner, he pulls out his phone. Target secure. No threats. Closing surveillance. He hangs up, packs his equipment, and leaves. His job is done. Below, in the street, a woman keeps walking. Free. Protected. Alone. Exactly as she wanted. And on the other side of the city, in a small apartment under a name that isn't his, Kang Jun-seok sits by a window. His phone buzzes with a message from his surveillance team. Package delivered safely. No complications. He stares at the message for a long moment. Then he looks at the coat draped over the chair beside him, folded, clean, a reminder of what kindness looks like, and what it costs. He closes his eyes, and for the first time in months, allows himself to hope she's happy. Ew. 1 year later. Maribel stands outside a coffee shop in Lincoln Park, waiting for her study partner. She's finishing her second semester. 3.8 GPA. 2 job offers already lined up for after graduation. Life is good, not perfect, but good. The past year taught her something important. Survival and freedom aren't the same thing. Survival is reactive, dodging threats, accepting protection, living in someone else's shadow. Freedom is active, choosing your path, building your future, refusing to let fear make decisions. She chose freedom. It's harder, lonelier sometimes, but it's hers. Her phone buzzes. Text from her study partner. Running. 10 minutes late. Start without me? Maribel orders coffee, finds a table by the window, opens her laptop. The door chimes. She doesn't look up. Ms. Knox. The voice freezes her fingers on the keyboard. She looks up slowly. Jun-seok stands, 3 feet away, holding a paper bag. He looks different. Lighter. No suit, just jeans, a sweater, a winter coat. His hair is longer, face less severe. He looks human. May I sit? He asks. Maribel nods, not trusting her voice. He sits across from her, setting the bag on the table. You look well, he says. So do you. Silence stretches. I saw you graduated from the protection program, Jun-seok says finally. Congratulations. Thank you. For making that possible. You made it possible. I just cleared the path. Maribel studies him. Why are you here? Jun-seok slides the bag across the table. I wanted to return something. Maribel opens it. Inside is her coat, the one she gave him that night, the one she gave him again the morning he left. Folded. Clean. Exactly as she remembered. Her throat tightens. You kept it. For a year. As a reminder. Of what? Jun-seok leans back, looking out the window. That mercy is the most dangerous act in the world, because it forces you to choose between power and humanity. And once you choose humanity, he looks back at her. You can't go back. Maribel touches the coat gently. What have you been doing? Learning how to be ordinary. He smiles slightly. It's harder than running a syndicate. She laughs, soft, genuine. Where are you living? Montana. Small town. I fix cars. He shrugs. Turns out I'm good with my hands when I'm not breaking bones. And you're safe? Safe enough. The people who wanted me dead have bigger problems now. He pauses. Forgotten. Maribel nods slowly. I thought about you, she admits. Wondered if you were okay. I thought about you too. Wondered if freedom felt the way you imagined. Does it? He considers. Freedom feels like silence. No orders, no threats, no one deciding who I am. He meets her eyes. But silence can be lonely. Yes, Maribel whispers. It can. They sit quietly. 2 people who saved each other once, learning how to live with the aftermath. I should go, Jun-seok says finally. I just wanted to return the coat. And to see, he stops. To see what? If mercy was worth it. Maribel's eyes burn. Was it? Jun-seok looks at her. Really looks at her. Studies the confidence she's built, the life she's creating, the freedom she's claimed. Yes, he says quietly. It was. He stands, pulling his own coat on. Take care of yourself, Ms. Knox. You too, Mr. Kang. He walks toward the door. Pauses. Turns back. That night on the bridge, his voice is soft. You didn't just save my life. You saved who I was before violence became all I knew. So thank you. Maribel stands, holding the coat. I didn't do anything special. I just refused to let the cold decide who mattered. Jun Seok smiles, genuine, sad, grateful. That, he says, was everything. He walks out into the Chicago afternoon. Maribel watches through the window as he disappears into the crowd, just another person in a city full of strangers. She sits back down, running her fingers over the coat, and realizes something profound. In a world ruled by fear, mercy isn't weakness, it's revolution. Because every time someone chooses kindness over convenience, compassion over calculation, humanity over power, they prove that the coldest nights can't freeze everything. Some things survive, not because they're strong, but because someone decided they mattered. Maribel folds the coat carefully and gets back to work, building a life where mercy doesn't cost everything, where kindness doesn't demand payment, where freedom means choosing who you help, not because you have to, but because you can.